Hey there guys, right, so I tried to make this video about the TBS receiver transmitter system and it was 31 minutes. Look, I can't stand the idea of listening to myself for 31 minutes. I don't want to impose that on you guys. What I wanted to make a video about was a few things that I saw in other videos that were missed out about this stuff. And I think they are worth mentioning when it comes to the TBS gear. The TBS gear is long range gear. It's low frequency, 868 megahertz in the UK, round about 868, round about 900 megahertz in the United States and other places. It only uses on the receivers, if you're using the Crossfire, it only uses one UART. On this board, it wouldn't really count so much because your UART2, UART5 would be used for your transmit receive on the TBS, and it will also be used for your S-bus on the receive side, and your smart port on the telemetry part on this. So on this board it's more designed towards FreeSky stuff, and so you don't actually get the benefits so much of only the one UART. But let's say if you're using a free board, you would, where you'd need to use one UART for the telemetry, one UART for the S-bus. That's two UARTs used when you've already got three. That's a lot. So if you need to use a TBS piece of equipment, the Crossfire protocol, one UART, and that covers your control and your telemetry. Big bonus that's missed out on the videos. Another thing about this sort of gear is, okay, so this one's like, let's call it the posh one, because it's the standard version, not the micro, but it's got some great features in it. The one is like I've seen a lot of guys when they sort of say about you never lose, you always see 99% on your like RSSI feed, but that's not by default. It's not RSSI. By default, it's link quality generally, and that's what people put it on. That's what I first started putting mine on. But if you put it on RSSI, you get the actual receive strength signal indication, and that is not the link quality. You may be dropping down on RSSI, but the link quality may still be good. Okay, I set mine to RSSI, so as you're watching the videos there on the screen, you will see, oh, I hope I put this to one bloody side as well, you will see that my RSSI drops a bit, then it goes up, drops a bit, it goes up, because I put mine on dynamic power. You can do that on the micro as well. You can do it all through this little toggle switch thing here on this with the OLED display. But on the micro, with the Tyrannus, you just go into the Lua script and you can set all your parameters in there. So mine's on dynamic range, maximum set to 100 milliwatts. This will actually go up to 2 watts, but 100 milliwatts is ample for what I use. My video transmitter isn't capable of getting past the ranges that this can get to 100 milliwatts. Some people may say then, well, why'd you get it then? Well, why did I get this and trade in my micro? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I bought the micro and the micro receiver, micro transmitter and micro receiver. But I think it cost me like £104. And then I got a 5% discount on that. I sold the micro transmitter without the receiver for £73. So when I work out the difference of £186 minus 5% plus the £73 against that, this only cost me like 100 quid, a little bit over 100 quid. So why wouldn't I get it? This is going to be the last transmitter that I ever need, as long as the electronics don't all go wrong. So as long as I don't do anything stupid with it, or have it out in hideous conditions where it gets gnarled up by moisture getting in or something, I'm good. I'm getting old and I'm not going to last forever, but this thing could last for a long time and I'm going to get a lot of fun out of it. What else was there about these that was worth mentioning? Oh, the update system, over the air update systems, which means that when I plug this into the TBS agent, this updates. It also takes in the firmwares for the receivers, diversity, the micro, nano, and then when I reconnect a plug, when I replug this in, turn the transmitter on, plug the quad in, we get a automatic. On this, it tells you to do the update, and you press the button yes, and then it updates the receivers for you, brilliant. So that saves a whole load of hassle of, like, you know, disconnecting these and taking these out. It's low frequency, so it's, like I said, it's 868 megahertz in the UK. These are 2.4 gigahertz. Okay, so what's the difference between 2.4 gigahertz and 868 megahertz? It's like this. Have you ever been sat in your house before and you've heard a car go past and all you can hear is boom, 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 boom of the bass? Low frequency. It penetrates a lot more. Okay, so you're going to get a longer distance, you're going to get better penetration at closer distance, let's say through trees, even possibly helping you not lose complete control on the other side of a building, let's say. Because this is going to go through walls a lot easier than what this is going to go through walls. Alright? So that's a good advantage. 2.4 gigs is closer to the 5.8 gigs transmission of your VTX, so easier to get interference, while one's listening for information, the other one's screaming out, easy to get some interference. Of course, being 868 megs, this is going to be even further apart on the band, on the wave bands, so even less likely chance to get that type of bleed over interference between those two frequencies. Another good thing about the TBS micro, let's say these little receivers is, let me just turn that to there. Size wise, you're saving a bit of size. I hope that's focusing in, but you're saving a bit of size there. Now I know that these come with plugs and pins, but this is literally just two wires and the power leads. That's what you got from that. And the way I've got mine set up on my quad is I've actually got mine set up, if I just move that out of the way, I've actually got mine set up like this. So you can see, here it is. So it's in the vertical, so when I have the antenna on the back of the transmitter, of course, that's in the vertical as well. It may look like it's a bit of a budget scarper jobby, but this is on purpose. When I carry this around without the props on in the box in my backpack, it means when the lid goes down on the box, that can bend over. This moves within this, keeps it upright, but it still moves within it. Okay, so when it bends over, there's no pressure put on the antenna. And also, if it crashes and lands upside down, if that's pulled down there, oh, you can't see it like that, but if that is pulled down there, there's still, here is the top of these cable ties. So that's what rests into the ground. And it's not resting on the actual antenna part here, it's got a bit of freedom to move. Then I can just push it back between them like that. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. So, sorry. On the video that's playing in the background there, you can, this is the antenna that I'm using on here. This is the Video Aerial Systems VAS Ion. I quite like it. It's pretty good. The max distance that I've been out with it so far is about 850 meters. And the only reason why it looks like it's losing signal is because I've got the transmitter in my hands. And I have, where are those two antennas gone? Here they are. On one video, I have this antenna, which is like the patch that you get when you get the update for the Hobson antennas, for the extra long range. And I've got this one on the other video. But the antenna that I have actually on my screen, I don't lose signal. I don't get half the interference I get with these two. And I don't want to show you the other antenna until I can actually show you it in the video, doing the same sort of thing as what I do with these antennas in the videos that you can see up there, so you can see the difference, okay? Because I can see the difference. I only record my videos all the time just so I can come back and I can look at the videos and think, okay, that's where I went wrong on this. This is what I do about that. I don't always do them so I can put them up and show you. Otherwise, you'd be getting videos every single day, because, well, you'd be getting videos every single flight, and that's a lot more frequent than actually what I give you. Because, to be honest with you, getting the flight timing, getting everything prepared for it, getting out there, getting the videos back, going through the videos. I wouldn't get any time for anything else if I was to do that all the time. Okay, so I just can't do it. But I tell you now, the antenna that I was using on my screen was much better. And when you see on this video, when it's going out of range, because this is the one that's the long distance part, the 850 meters, it looks like it's going out of range. It's not. I'm moving the transmitter left and right with the antennas in the stationary position on the transmitter being moved left to right, even though they'd be that way around. Be moved left to right. This one's on my screen, pretend, and this one's on the receiver. But this is actually the mystery antenna on my screen, just to see how wide the angle was. But when I'm doing it, I've got this one on the receiver, the one that's recording. So when I'm doing it, I'm not actually losing the signal. It's just slightly going off, and I'm moving back, slightly going off. But this one loses the signal because the beam is narrower. Probably better for longer range, but it's narrower. But to be honest with you, sometimes it's nicer to have a slightly wider beam because it's harder to lose the thing. So that's what's going on in the video there. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say. I just wanted to say about these antennas. This is even better. This is the diversity. This is true diversity as well. It's not just, it's got servo, it's got 8. Once I used 2 on here, I got 6 outputs for servos, which is fantastic if I was going to use it directly on servos on a plane. But I've built in my plane, even though I wasn't going to tell you about that. Damn it, that's my next thing that I'm doing. I'll show you that in another video. But this thing has actually got a homing beacon built into it. There's a LiPo built into this. And it's got a homing beacon, so even if you crash your quad, your plane, whatever you've got this on, normally a bigger. It's not that heavy, to be fair. It's a lot. It's heavier than the other stuff. It's heavier than this, of course it is. But even if you drop it into the ground and you can't find it, this thing if you've got GPS on the plane, it'll send back the last known GPS coordinates. It'll keep sending out a connection signal independent of your craft battery, because this has its own built-in battery, which basically acts like a homing beacon. So you can find your, well, at least the receiver anyway. You should be able to find your craft a lot easier with it. You can also use this if you mess up updating the firmware on the micro receiver, let's say, because it doesn't have a USB to plug into. You can use the black sheets telemetry, the connector here to the connector on here, and actually update the firmware from your transmitter to this to that micro receiver, even if it all goes wrong. An example of like this is like when you're doing updates on your software, your firmware, you don't want to lose power. But imagine you did. Last night we had 2 power cuts here. Now, fortunately for me, I was using Windows. If I'd have been using Linux, and if I'd have had a USB plugged into Linux, and it didn't eject that USB properly, now I've got a read-only USB. I can get round it, but it's not a point. It's not a point. It's a problem. It becomes a pain in the arse. And this thing has got like an emergency update system which enables you to get round those sort of things happening, which is another good thing about it. Easy to bind. Once you've bound it once, it's just easy. These things find each other. It uses serial numbers of these to connect into into the transmitter. So that's another great thing about it. I can't really find anything negative to say about it, but come this summer, the better weather coming, I'm going to be doing some longer distance flights with this in my project that I'm building at the moment. And also on the quad, I'm going to be pushing that to its limit a little bit. That won't have any return to home or anything like that. Not this time anyway. I mean, it might do. I might actually buy another satellite receiver to put on that quad, so I do have that fail-safe. I do like the idea of having it as a fail-safe. I don't like the idea of flying with it, but I like the idea of having it as a fail-safe. In actual fact, I'll put up another video where I show you what happens when you lose line of sight through a whole thick, dense lot of woods, and it's just great to have that flick of return to home. And I'll tell you about the mistakes I made, the way I had it set up, the flight mode I was in, what the mistake that I made with it, in another video. Okay, but I've still got that video and I will show you that. yeah, so I just wanted to tell you why I've chosen this. Okay, it's more pricey. It is more pricey, but I tell you what, I tried these, and it's great to go out to 1.5 kilometres, like the mile. It is, but these will go a lot further. Okay, it's nice to know that you get better penetration with these type of thing. Not necessarily this, the micro, the nano. It's a lot cheaper and it's half the price. But the technology that's in these compared to these is better. And I love the idea that I bought from Hobby RC in the UK. Mike there is absolutely fantastic. I don't want to big him up too much because I like being able to phone him up, have a chat. He gives me quite a bit of advice. He spends the time with me, and if I say to everyone how great he is, they'll all be doing it, and he won't have the time for people. So even though I love buying from there, don't phone him up because I like talking to him. Look, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Any questions about this stuff, just ask me. I'm playing with it all the time. I've read the manual so many times now. It's just great gear. It's absolutely great gear. I can't knock it at all. Honestly can't.